right at the end of the dockside, so Thomas had to wait. Just then, Percy arrived. "Hello, Thomas." Percy saw that Thomas was collecting the brass band. He was very upset. "Why didn't you tell me, Thomas? I tell you everything." Thomas felt terrible. He tooted his best friend's whistle, but Percy didn't whistle back. Thomas felt worse than ever. He puffed out of the docks with the brass band. Thomas arrived at Great Waterton. The Fat Controller was waiting to welcome the brass band. Thomas still felt very unhappy. He had let his best friend down. "Thomas, you must come back at the end of the concert to pick up the brass band." Then an idea flew into Thomas's funnel. "Sir, can Percy pick up the band?" "Percy is delivering the mail." "If I pull Percy's mail trucks, then could he pick up the band?" The Fat Controller agreed. So Annie and Clarabelle were uncoupled, and Thomas steamed off to find his best friend. Now Thomas really wanted to find Percy, but Percy was nowhere to be found. Thomas was worried. The concert would finish soon and the band would be waiting. Then Thomas saw Percy. He was waiting at a signal. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you I was picking up the band." "I'm busy. I have to pull the mail." "I've something to tell you. I'll pull the mail for you. Then you can go and pick up the brass band and take them to the docks." Percy beamed from buffer to buffer. "Thank you, Thomas." He was very excited. Thomas buffered up to Percy's mail trucks and quickly pulled away. He was pleased to help his best friend. Percy steamed off to pick up Annie and Clarabelle. He couldn't wait to collect the brass band. Later, Thomas puffed into Great Waterton. Percy was waiting for the band. "You are my best friend, Percy. From now on, I will always tell you everything." And they tooted their best friend's whistle for everyone to hear. "Oh no," thought Thomas. "Toby's still there. Toby mustn't see Flora. Flora, we're late to pick up my load. We must go to the docks." "If you say so, Thomas." And they puffed quickly away. At the docks, Thomas was coupled up to his large load to take to Great Waterton. Thomas was sure Toby would now be leading the parade. "Come on, Flora!" Flora's axles ached, but Thomas steamed strongly. Thomas and Flora puffed up to the junction. Then there was trouble. Flora had chuffed too far. She had run out of coal. "I'm sorry, Thomas." Flora's wheels wobbled weakly. Thomas felt bad. He knew it was his fault. Then he heard a chuff and a puff and a ring of a bell. It was Toby. "Thomas, I've been waiting for you." Who's that?" "Cinders and ashes." Toby had met Flora. Neither of them was at the parade. The Fat Controller would be very cross. Thomas couldn't have felt worse. "Flora, this is Toby. Toby, this is Flora." Toby looked very happy. Thomas was surprised. "I wanted to tell you, Thomas, that I was too scared to lead the parade all by myself, but now Flora and I can lead it together." "I thought I knew what you wanted, Toby, but I was wrong." Now, Thomas had to quickly put right his mistake. "Flora, take my coal. I'll pick up more. Puff as fast as you can to Great Waterton." Toby and Flora soon puffed away. Later, Thomas chuffed into Great Waterton. The parade was ready to leave. Thomas's flatbed was uncovered. Flora gasped. She had a wonderful new tram car. Toby was pleased. Thomas watched his two friends lead the first Great Waterton parade. The children cheered. The brass band boomed. "Now I have another best friend, and she's a steam tram too." And Thomas smiled his happiest smile. Freddie had told Colin to wait for him, but Colin didn't want to get Freddie into trouble. "Yes, sir." Then Mr. Percival went to look for Freddie. Soon, Freddie puffed up to Colin. "I waited for you, but Mr. Percival told me to finish the job. It's all done now." He was very pleased. Freddie looked down at the canal. He wasn't pleased at all. The lights, presents and the tree were floating away on a barge. The children would soon arrive at Mr. Percival's house, and there was nothing there for the party. And there was nothing at the wharf either. "Now no one will have a party, and I still haven't found Mr. Percival," Freddie huffed to himself. He felt terrible. "I must stop the barge." Then Freddie saw Mr. Percival. He knew what he had to do. Freddie chuffed over to see Mr. Percival. "Where have you been?" Freddie told him all about his idea to have the party at the wharf. "It was a surprise for Colin, sir. Colin has never been to a party." Mr. Percival thought having the party at the wharf was a very good idea. "But you should have asked me first." "Ah, yes, sir. If I work quickly, I can still put everything right." "All right, Freddie, but hurry now." Freddie raced to catch up with the barge. He called out to the bargeman, "Stop! Please turn round and go back to Colin." "All right, Freddie." Freddie steamed back to Colin. He told Colin all about the party. "I wanted to have a surprise party for you." "For me?" Colin was delighted and surprised. Soon Colin was unloading everything for the party. Now Freddie felt very happy. He steamed away to Mr. Percival's house. Freddie whistled to the children. "The party is now at the wharf." Soon the children were on board, and they whooshed away. All the other engines were waiting at the wharf, even Thomas. Presents were piled high, the tree was covered in lights, and so was Colin. "What a wonderful party. Thank you, Freddie." Freddie was delighted. All the engines whistled and tooted. The children cheered and cheered. It was their best winter holiday party. Farm workers had covered the statue of Proteus. Peter Sam was coupled up to the flatbed. Peter Sam pumped his pistons. The cream churns were heavy, but Proteus' statue was even heavier. Peter Sam huffed and puffed to the top of the hill. "Now I can roll down the other side," he thought. Peter Sam raced down the hill. There was a junction ahead. "Oh no, this load is too heavy! Help!" Peter Sam smashed into a buffer. The cream churns crashed. The junction was blocked. "Bubbling boilers! I'll never be the star of the show now. The other engines can't get through. I've spoiled everything for everyone." Then Peter Sam heard the whistles of his friends. Duncan, Freddy and Mighty Mac arrived at the junction. They were surprised at the mess. Peter Sam felt very silly. "I'm sorry. I wanted to be the star of Miss Marvel's show." He told them about finding the statue of Proteus. The engines gasped. "The statue belongs to us all. Please will you help me take it to the show?" His friends were happy to help. Duncan chuffed away to find an engineer for Peter Sam. Mighty Mac puffed to tell Mr. Percival about the statue. "Freddy, will you take Proteus to the show?" Freddy was delighted. It would be an honour. Soon the engineer fixed Peter Sam's brakes. "Now you're ready to go, Peter Sam." Later, Peter Sam collected fresh cream from the farm. "I know Miss Marvel's show has started, but all the other engines will be there to enjoy the statue." Peter Sam chuffed his long way back. Peter Sam puffed up quietly. Miss Marvel was just finishing her last story. Oh my! The statue is still covered. "Today, one of our engines found something very special. So this is for all the little engines of the hills, because you are all special." Everyone gasped at the wonderful statue. The engines whistled. Peter Sam smiled. "We are all stars of the show.